Let us start today's newspaper discussion. Karnataka speaker was asked to meet all the 10 MLAs, rebel MLAs, as per the directions of the Supreme Court. Karnataka speaker meets 10 Karnataka rebel MLAs following the Supreme Court direction. The next important article, if you take the last page, Japan's Hayabusa 2 probe touches down an asteroid. Whenever such news comes about science and technology, Hayabusa is a spacecraft belong to Japan, which went to Ryugu asteroid, RYUGU. Japan's Hayabusa probe made a perfect touchdown on a distant asteroid, collecting the samples from it. The probe name is Hayabusa, Hayabusa 2, and it went to Ryugu asteroid, RYUGU, and it was launched by the Japan's Hayabusa was launched by Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, JAXA. Japan's Aerospace Exploration Agency, JAXA. And if you observe, Assam temple turtles set free in the wild. Whenever a news comes on turtles or other species in the newspaper, it is very, very important. And coming to editorial page today, the editorial is about labor laws, labor reforms. Tread with caution, TREAD, tread with caution. Here, since independence till date, we have a shortfall, a major vacuum in proper labor regulations and labor laws. Particularly after 1991, after India went for LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization, having strict labor laws is considered as antithetical to liberal and ease of doing business. For that reason, the governments have not touched much about labor laws, and now it's good thing that all our labor codes, means labor laws, were regulated. Now they are coming into 4 different codes, 4 different laws. CODE, code means law. And if you think about labor laws, we have Trade Union Act, Industrial Disputes Act, Minimum Wages Act, Payment of Bonus Act, ESI Act, Factories Act. So we have various labor laws. Compiling all the labor laws into 4 codes, the government have taken a decision, and this year's economic survey, which was released recently, discussed at length about labor reforms. This year in UPSC mains or coming year prelims, labor issues are the most important issues, including the rights of workers. So coming to today's article, the consolidated codes on labor, consolidated codes on labor laws need a thorough vetting and discussion in the parliament. Labor laws need to have a thorough discussion, thorough approval in parliament. As part of its commitment to simplify and consolidate labor laws under 4 different codes, Union Cabinet yesterday cleared Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code. Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code. And last week the Union Cabinet approved Code of Wages Bill, Wage Code. So there are 4 codes under which the first code which was approved by Union Cabinet was Wage Code, and the second code yesterday approved was Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code. And earlier again we have so many codes like Industrial Relations Code, Social Security Code. So there are total 4: Social Security, Industrial Relations and Wage Code, Occupational Safety Code, Hygiene Health Code. So there are total 4 codes, out of which Wage Code already bill was approved by Cabinet, Occupational Health and Safety was approved yesterday. And out of all these things, there are 3-4 issues which are really contentious. There is no proper code for creation of jobs, and unemployment rate is at peak today. Unemployment rate is the highest. And second thing, the code should also, for example, minimum wages code. In a wages code, central government will identify wages for all the geographical regions, and state should follow the wage regulation, minimum wage given by the central government. Central government will identify the basic wage required in the every geographical region, and state have to pay the same money, say the same minimum wage. And the economic survey, the recently released economic survey highlighted the effect of labour reforms in Rajasthan. Labour reforms in Rajasthan. So good labour reforms means good system and good taxation, all these things, but unfortunately labour reforms are not completely successful. And the other says in the labour reforms you should consult trade unions, all the stakeholders. Not only government should take unilateral decision, but all the stakeholders should be consulted. Even for the rules of layoff, retrenchment, particularly in the labour relations, how the company and the factory and the labourers and the workers will have proper relations. Layoff, retrenchment, when the company removes certain employees, what are the rules that the company should follow? All these things comes under layoff and retrenchment. It needs proper approval even from the trade unions. It is not that you can take drastically any decision. This is called tread with caution. Tread with caution. Next article, a welcome debate on electoral reforms. The article is written by S.Y. Qureshi. A welcome debate on electoral reforms. It was written by S.Y. Qureshi. Recently, in Rajya Sabha, in a short duration discussion, an issue on electoral reforms was raised by Derek O'Brien. If you could remember in our childhood, in I think NDTV or Star TV, we used to see Derek O'Brien quiz. Sunday at noon 12 o'clock, we used to see a quiz conducted by Derek O'Brien. So he was a Trinamool Congress MP now. He has proposed 6 amendments, means 6 changes in our election system. 6 changes, and 14 parties discussed about these changes. 14 party representatives discussed about these changes. What are the 6 areas, major themes suggested by the Rajya Sabha MP with respect to electoral reforms? First is appointment system of election commissioners and chief election commissioners. Appointment system of election commissioners and chief election commissioner. There is no requirement to give security of tenure for them, and appointment should not be political appointment. It should be done by collegium. You know why? If a Council of Ministers cabinet gives support to one chief election commissioner, the same person will be appointed by the president, and in any case humans have subjectivity. That election commissioner might support the incumbent political party. For that reason, for the appointment, do away with the security of tenure, and most importantly, that is fixed tenure, and most importantly, do away with the political appointment process. Go with collegium method. Go with collegium method. And second important thing is EVMs. electronic voting machines. In the EVMs, you all know, we have a very big challenge, not only Dereco brain, now people are talking about ballot paper instead of EVM. And money power in elections. As you all know, the recent survey says 60,000 crores were spent on recent elections, and fixing officially 28 lakh cap, all these things is, it won't make any sense. There will be realistic mode, and why don't we introduce an extent of state funding of elections. State funding of elections is only an idea. In India, state directly giving money to candidates or parties is a major burden for the state exchequer, because India is still a developing country, and even today around 25% of Indian citizens are very poor. So India cannot afford state funding of elections. And Mr. Qureshi told at the end, by constituting National Election Fund, a fund like National Election Fund, why don't state fund the elections? It is not that easy. Even why don't the state fund based on the votes polled to each party? It is not that easy to do that. It is very idealistic suggestion. It is not that easy in India to bring direct state funding of elections with such a huge amount. It is not so easy. Coming back again, the idea of simultaneous elections, yes, we are going with simultaneous elections idea, but there are goods and bad about it. There is good and bad about it. One India, one election. And one more thing, the role of social media, Cheat India platform. Social media is considered as Cheat India platform, yes. Social media, as we all know, it can carry any news without much weight and without much facts. Okay, even social media is termed as Cheat India media. So kindly, based on these suggestions, read this article, and very important article, and you may prepare an essay, the need for electoral reforms in India. This topic might be your essay question, the need for electoral reforms in India. And next article, picking out plastic. Picking out plastic. Yesterday we have seen the Central Pollution Control Board has given notices to many producers, brand owners and importers, and right now the problem is most of the plastic waste is also produced by online trading, that is Flipkart, Amazon, they all sell many things, but they don't take the responsibility of what they sell, particularly plastic. So CPCB issued notices asking them to follow extended producer responsibility, EPR principle. EPR, extended producer responsibility principle, and EPR principle was incorporated in plastic waste management rules. EPR principle was incorporated in plastic waste management rules, and you all know that the online e-commerce market is going to be $200 billion market by 2026. By the year 2026, e-commerce market is going to be $200 billion market, and if they sell the products without taking the responsibility of recycling the plastic waste, is going to be the huge burden to environment. So immediately there should be an extended producer responsibility from these companies also. Next article, jobless growth becomes more systemic. Jobless growth becomes more systemic. As you all know, in the recent unemployment data we got highest unemployment in the last 45 years this year, and it was 6.1%. There were various issues with respect to unemployment. The figure of overall unemployment rate is 6.1%, is 2.77 times the same figure for 2012. And the rise in overall unemployment have general issues and dimensional specific issues. And if you see urban unemployment, particularly women unemployment and women feminization of agriculture, women working in the redundant sectors like agriculture, and why such a large scale of unemployment, jobless growth. We are having growth without creation of jobs. So kindly make an essay on unemployment problem in India, as this might be an essay question again. Answer and also essay based on the data in the paper. Can India make the transition to electric vehicles? can India make transition to electric vehicles? See, in the recent budget we have seen lot of SOPs for electric vehicles. GST was reduced from 12% to 5%. Additional income tax reduction up to the interest of 1.5 lakhs per annum on electric vehicles, and also spare parts for electric vehicles if they are imported. The customs duty will be low. There are a lot of SOPs to support electric vehicles to make India, to ensure green mobility concept, means environmental friendly transportation system. As you all know, right now what we have, the engines are very disastrous to environment because of fuel emissions, that pollution emissions because of fuel. And is it very easy to shift for India to transition from normal vehicles to electric vehicles? It is a tough challenge. It's really a tough challenge. We need to buy because the present engines right now, electric vehicles, some of them have batteries, and some of them run without. Hybrid vehicles sometimes have some different systems. So finally, it is not very easy to transit, but it takes some time. Definitely, people will also understand the need for electric vehicles because they are environmental friendly and they use batteries. What is the recharge of batteries, and how you purchase the raw materials for batteries and other materials, all these things. And China is a very good source for electric vehicles. China is a very good source for electric vehicles. Coming back, majoritarian here, secular there. This is a critical article on Narendra Modi government. Majoritarian here, secular there. See, the order started with some people argued that with the advent of Prime Minister Modi in the first term last time, he became a globetrotter representing India. He went to many countries and he increased the foreign policy and he expanded the foreign policy and reach of India outside. This is one argument. But the other side, see, in India, the incumbent government is promoting majoritarianism, that is, you know what is majoritarianism? The majority opinion prevailing on minorities. The other wanted to be quite critical that Hindutva ideology on minorities. And at the same time, the Modi outside India is getting connected with Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia also helped India after Pulwama attacks, and also UAE, he got very good civilian award from UAE. So he is trying to connect with showing the secular feature outside, but internally he is supporting majoritarianism. That was the idea of other, which might not be correct or might be correct. Leave it to the destiny, need not bother, but take the news and leave it. Okay, done?